Scott Sanders, standing near but not quite to the top of the Indiana War Memorial, downtown Indianapolis. If you haven't had the opportunity to come down to one of these before, it's a fantastic day and a way to remember the real point of Memorial Day weekend here in Indianapolis. Surely it is a weekend for the race, but it is also quite profoundly important to thank the families who have lost so much because of relatives who've died in service of our country. It is Memorial Day weekend. This is the memorial service. It is about to start. We're just a couple of minutes away. We're going to go ahead and let you watch some of the pageantry, let you know what you're going to see. You'll see the traditions like the garrison flag, a full caisson service. You'll hear from some honored speakers and see Gold Star families. This year they'll also talk about something remarkable that happened 100 years ago to welcome home soldiers from World War I. There was a parade that May, and they'll make mention of that today as a way of marking the centennial of that. So quite a lot still to come here in the next few minutes. You'll also hear me sort of preview something we're doing for Monday at 10 in the morning, actual Memorial Day. This broadcast will air then on Wish TV, the broadcast signal. So if you are so inclined and you watch this today and you want family and friends to be able to see it as well, invite them, please. 10 o'clock in the morning on Memorial Day, we will air this service in full as well. So I'm going to step out of the way, let you enjoy sort of some of the build-up of this. As you see the band, you'll hear a choir and things of that nature. Next time I talk to you, it'll be the beginning of this service here in just a few minutes. The Capital City Chorus singing America the Beautiful on a sunshiny day in late May in Indianapolis. It must be time for the 500 Festival Memorial Service. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you're watching online or watching with family at home anywhere in Indiana or across the country, we very much appreciate your time today, and we hope that you'll agree with us that this is a critical part of all of the events that happen during this time in Indianapolis. It is certainly, of course, a racing town this weekend, but it's never far from anyone's mind that the real important part of this Memorial Day, Monday, and then the weekend that surrounds it as well, is what brings us all together to honor the lives that served and lost their lives in service of our country. So this is an annual event that the 500 Festival does to make certain that people never have that too far from mind, even as we celebrate a few miles out to the west at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But again, you'll hear some very honored speakers today. You will get to see Gold Star families who have lost so very much to make sure that America enjoys the freedoms that it does. You'll hear a special message this year about something that happened 100 years ago in Indianapolis. Quite frankly, I'm still learning about it myself. I didn't know that there was a giant welcome home parade for the soldiers of World War I. They even built an Arc de Triomphe from France, built one down here in downtown Indianapolis, and celebrated the success of that very long ago but very difficult and critically important war, World War I. So you'll hear about that as they speak today as well. And you'll see the caisson ceremony, profoundly important. You'll see the rifle, the gun volley salute, which again honors the lives lost. I want to let you hear a little bit of the chorus, and then the next voice you hear will be Jim Denny, who will be your host for the 500 Festival Memorial Service.
Good afternoon. There's a breeze somewhere. Welcome to the 2019 500 Festival Memorial Service presented by Rolls-Royce. As we begin today's service, please join me in turning off all electronic devices. You know, for decades, this annual service has taken pause during a time of celebration throughout our great state to honor Memorial Day's true meaning and recognize that it is only possible due to the selflessness of our fallen heroes. As a community nonprofit whose mission is to enrich lives, foster positive community impact, and celebrate the Indy 500, the 500 Festival thanks you for your attendance today as we honor those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in defense of this great nation, the United States of America. I'm Jim Denny from 95.5 WFMS. It is truly my pleasure to once again be your host. The musical prelude was performed by the Indiana Army National Guard's 38th Infantry Division Band under the direction of Chief Warrant Officer 4 Patrick L. Palumbo. Sure. At this time, we'd also like to acknowledge the Capital City Chorus, directed by Kimberly Newcomb, for your continued support throughout today's program. Thank you all for sharing your music. We are honored to deliver today's service from the North Steps of the Indiana War Memorial. Dedicated to the Allied forces of World War I, this memorial plaza stands as a living testament to the courage and sacrifice made by so many before us. Deemed the war to end all wars, we now know that, unfortunately, that reality did not ring true. No United States citizens know this sentiment more than the servicemen and women and the families of the United States Armed Forces. 2019 marks the centennial anniversary of Hoosier soldiers returning home from World War I. In May 1919, Indianapolis held a Welcome Home Day parade for soldiers returning from World War I after being away from home for almost 2 years. A replica of the Arc de Triomphe in Paris, where the Allied service members marched following the war, was created on the south end of the Monument Circle here in downtown Indianapolis to celebrate the troops as they marched through the city in front of thousands of citizens welcoming them back to Indiana. Approximately 135,000 Hoosiers served in World War I, and 3,300 sacrificed their lives. We pay special tribute to those brave Hoosiers in the centennial anniversary of their return home and memorialize the lives lost on the steps of the Indiana War Memorial built in their honor. The city of Indianapolis has devoted more acreage than any other U.S. city to honoring our nation's fallen. Spanning 5 city blocks, this plaza has paid tribute to military service as early as the American Civil War. This service spans from a Union soldier training facility in University Park to the American Legion Mall's Centipath Square, memorializing the first American casualty of the Great War, Corporal James Bethel Gresham from Evansville, Indiana. As we stand here in front of this, the Indiana War Memorial, approved for construction a century ago, in conjunction with the new home of the American Legion, we must recognize the anniversary of its meaning and creation. When we look over this memorial's inspiring plaza, we look for 19 American flags behind the stage today, representing Indiana being the 19th state to join the Union in 1816. As we formally begin the 2019 service, I'd like to start by thanking and acknowledging the generosity of our host and partners. Community partners of today's 500 Festival Memorial Service include our presenting sponsor, Rolls-Royce, with additional support provided by One America, the American Legion, our promotional partner, 95.5 WFMS, and our host for the day, the Indiana War Memorials Commission. Thank you as well to Wish TV for streaming today's service. This year, you'll be able to watch a 1-hour version of the service on Memorial Day. It's Monday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. without commercial interruption. At this time, it is my honor to introduce the members of the official party, starting from your right. Mr. Scott Davison, President and CEO, One America. Mr. Phil Burkholder, President of Defense Aerospace Rolls-Royce North America. The Honorable Joseph H. Hogsett, Mayor of Indianapolis. Mr. Mike Stroll, Chairman of the 500 Festival Board of Directors. Mr. Bob Bryant, President and CEO of the 500 Festival. Mr. Hershel Woodrow Woody Williams, Medal of Honor recipient. Yes. Well deserved. The Honorable Eric Holcomb, Governor of Indiana. General Michael Garrett, Commander of United States Army Forces Command. Major General Courtney P. Carr, the Adjutant General of Indiana. Captain Luke Goodwill, United States Marines. Lieutenant Commander Nicholas Smith, United States Navy. Colonel Lance Hooper, United States Air Force. Rear Admiral Paul Thomas, United States Coast Guard. Major Clifford Popp, Indiana National Guard State Chaplain. Staff Sergeant Joshua Alter, Grissom Air Force Base. And joining us today for our solemn service of tribute, Co-Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Daniel Wheeler, the National Adjutant of the American Legion. Generously serving as our flag bearers today are members of the Indianapolis Public Schools Army Junior ROTC program. We have cadet volunteers from Arsenal Technical High School, Crispus Attucks High School, George Washington High School, and Shortridge High School. At this time, I ask you to please join me in giving a warm welcome and a show of appreciation to all the United States Armed Forces members and their families with us today, including the United States Army, the Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, and Coast Guard. Now it is my pleasure to introduce to you the chairman of the 500 Festival Board of Directors, Mr. Mike Stroll.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the 500 Festival Board of Directors, it's my pleasure to welcome you all here today and to say thank you for joining us at this 500 Festival Memorial Service presented by Rolls-Royce as we honor our brave servicemen and women for their dedication and sacrifice. The mission of the 500 Festival is to produce life-enriching events and programs that celebrate the spirit and legacy of the Indianapolis 500 and foster a positive impact on the city of Indianapolis and the state of Indiana. And while these events and this entire weekend is about celebration, it is only because we are a free and sovereign nation that we enjoy these freedoms. And defending that freedom and sovereignty comes at a cost. So it is indeed right and proper for us to take this moment today to celebrate the men and women who willingly defend this great nation and those who paid the ultimate price in doing so. While we celebrate the greatest spectacle in racing this weekend, it's important that we foremost remember the sacrifices made by Indiana men and women who perished while serving in the armed forces. Since 1957, the 500 Festival has organized community events filled with admiration and respect for our military. The 500 Festival is proud to help bring the community's focus to Memorial Day during this weekend's festivities, beginning today with this memorial service. We are also proud to honor our troops as well as Gold Star families in several ways during tomorrow's IPL 500 Festival Parade. We will also stand in celebration of our service members as they're recognized at the 103rd running of the Indianapolis 500. Our gratitude extends beyond Memorial Day weekend. The Gold Mile, the latest addition to the One America 500 Festival Mini Marathon, gives the 30,000 participants in that marathon the opportunity to honor fallen Indiana troops as they travel through the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and pay tribute to their sacrifice with a Gold Star bib. This new addition was so well received that the Survivor Outreach Service volunteers were scrambling to make new bibs to keep up with the demand of participants wishing to run in honor of a fallen soldier. The men and women who serve our country and their families that support their mission deserve our sincerest gratitude to allow us the freedom to celebrate. Today and every day, the 500 Festival says thank you for your service. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the posting of the colors by the Military Department of Indiana's Joint Service Color Guard and the singing of the National Anthem by Staff Sergeant Joshua Alter, accompanied by the 38th Infantry Division Band, after which please remain standing for the invocation from Major Clifford Popp.
Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to join me in prayer as you so choose, exercising the religious freedom we enjoy in our great indivisible nation because of the many heroes who gave their lives for that and our many other rights. Almighty God, who governs the nations with justice and mercy, accept our thanksgiving for this land and all of its promises, chaos, failure, and fulfillment, and hold in your foreverness the sweep, height, and hope that is America. Over the course of this weekend, with all the activities and events, grant us the ability to pause and reflect on the true price of our freedoms. We remember before you, O Lord, with grateful hearts, all those men and women of our country who in the day of decision were not wanting and gave their full devotion to preserve the freedom and liberties of our nation. May we in our day give honor to their sacrifice as we continue to preserve, protect, and enlarge those ideals for which they gave their lives. We pause not to give meaning to their deaths, but to know the true meaning of our lives. Watch over and protect those who are currently serving in the armed forces, the men and women who are deployed away from home. we call upon your Holy Spirit to inspire and motivate us to never forget, always to remember, that we owe every day, not just today, to those that have fought and died for our freedoms. May our day-to-day lives be lived to reflect even just some of our selflessness and devotion, so that how we live honorably will be their ultimate memorial. We pray in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Major Clifford Popp. Please be seated. The American Legion, chartered by Congress in 1919, was incorporated as a patriotic veterans organization devoted to mutual helpfulness. It is the nation's largest wartime veterans service organization and is committed to mentoring youth and sponsorship of wholesome programs throughout our community, advocating patriotism and honor, promoting strong national security, and a continued devotion to our fellow service members and veterans. Annually, there are hundreds of local American Legion programs and activities that are continuously strengthening this nation, one community at a time. Today, their daily obligation to those affected by war is magnified as we take part in the ceremonial traditions that remind us of those who have given their lives on the battlefield. Representing the members of the American Legion family, it is my pleasure to reintroduce National Adjutant of the American Legion and Co-Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Daniel Wheeler.
Thank you, Jim.
Good afternoon. I am privileged to represent over 3 million members of the American Legion family. Today, members of the Legion join their communities across the nation and even overseas to honor and remember our fallen comrades this Memorial Day weekend. This is a very special weekend in Indianapolis, a city that is home to the world's most famous auto race. But that's not why we're gathered here today. While a race may symbolize American freedom and prosperity, we are here for a much higher purpose. It is to honor those who have given everything they possess to make freedom, prosperity, and our American way possible for the rest of us. Let your presence here be your tribute to the true meaning of Memorial Day. It's a time to consider the sacrifices our men and women in uniform have made throughout our nation's history to preserve our freedom and our way of life. As Americans, we are blessed to have people willing to lay down their lives for those of us assembled here today. From the American Revolution to the continuing global war on terrorism, more than 1 million men and women have made the ultimate sacrifice for their country. Thank you for joining with us today to remember them. I call your attention to the empty chair on the second platform. This chair serves as a physical symbol of the thousands of American prisoners of war and service members missing in action and still unaccounted for from all of our nation's wars and conflicts. The cover is being removed from the empty chair to bear the prisoners of war missing in action flag. On it are the words, "You are not forgotten." This flag and these words serve as a reminder for all of us to spare no effort to secure the release of our American POWs from captivity or to repatriate the remains of our brave comrades who gave their lives defending our nation. Let us rededicate ourselves to this vital endeavor. At this time, it is my honor to introduce the Mayor of Indianapolis, Joseph H. Hogsett.
Good afternoon. It is indeed an honor to be with all of you this morning, commemorating the service and the sacrifice of our brave military. My thanks to all of the veterans who are with us here today, and my thanks to all that are departed. Indianapolis is indeed, and it has always been, a unique city for the way we memorialize our soldiers. Just south of this spot, at the very center of town, is our nation's first monument to the common soldier. To the north, the American Legion headquarters, America's largest organization, serving our veterans. Indeed, our city is second to none in the amount of space it dedicates to honoring veterans. And it is only because of great sacrifice that I can stand before you in a city where people are free. Because of our veterans, Indianapolis residents, and indeed people from all over the world can peaceably gather in this great city during this month each year to celebrate the spirit of community, the spirit of freedom, as well as the spirit of competition. How can we ever repay such a sacrifice? We must remain vigilant in our pledge to honor at home those who fight for and protect us abroad. We must take time, even in the midst of celebration, to remember those who died to make that celebration possible. We, in our own life, must strive to emulate the integrity, the honor, the dignity of our servicemen and women. For in that way, we help make our city, our state, and our nation worthy of their sacrifice. For that is our duty, to protect in peace what is secured at great cost during war. So today, in peace, let us remember the ones who gave all. May God bless those we honor today. May God bless our city and our state. And may our gracious and loving God forever bless the United States of America. I thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I now have the privilege to introduce the Governor of Indiana, the Honorable Eric Holcomb.
Thank you, Dan. Good afternoon, one and all. Welcome, Woody and General Garrett. I have never or never will again follow in an introduction someone so inspirational, true living legend, and then to do so with General Garrett. Welcome both to the great state of Indiana, and thank you all for being here today for what is truly the meaning of this holiday weekend. We commemorate this Memorial Day, and we do so just days before June 6th, the 75th anniversary of D-Day. Earlier this year, I had the opportunity to join some of our fellow Hoosiers and visit the landing sites, plural, and lay a wreath on behalf of all Hoosiers at the Normandy American Cemetery. And the books that we've read, maybe the movies that we've seen, certainly speaking for myself, just cannot do justice to actually being in that cemetery or following in the footsteps of those who never came home on Omaha Beach. Seeing the terrain and the remnants of German machine gun and artillery nests and the rough English Channel that they crossed really brings home what another Hoosier said, Ernie Pyle. When he wrote after those landings, he said, and I quote, "It seems a pure miracle we took the beach at all." In that cemetery, like so many others, you see row after row of crosses and stars. And the Garden of the Missing names the hundreds of American soldiers whose remains were never found. Each cross, each star, and each name is a story of a life cut short, a sacrifice to our freedom and to our nation's future way of life. It's as moving and somber and tear-jerking experience as you can ever imagine. Being there provides just yet another reminder that in the long line of human civilization, no country has ever sacrificed more to liberate more territory or more people than the American service member. Chose that word carefully. That's liberate, not conquer or subjugate. Of the 9,388 burials at Normandy, 274 of them are Hoosiers. And those 274 Hoosiers are part of a centuries-long line of Hoosiers who have made the ultimate sacrifice to preserve our liberties. From Fort Sackville to Bull Run, the Marne to Omaha Beach, to Iwo Jima, to Vietnam, to Iraq, to Afghanistan, and all the points in between. Hoosiers have always been there, and many are still there. One final note on Normandy. In the middle of the cemetery, there's a circular limestone chapel. Inside the chapel is an inscription, and it says, "Think not only upon their passing, remember the glory of their spirit." So as we gather today with friends and family and in the days to come, let's not just remember them all in death, but let's reflect on their bravery and their honor and the families that they have left behind. And let's always remember them in the glory of their spirit. We live in a special country, made so only by the men and women we honor this weekend. God bless them. God bless their families and this country we all love.
Thank you, Governor Holcomb. Please join me in welcoming the Adjutant General of Indiana, Major General Courtney P. Carr.
Thank you, Hoosiers, for attending this 500 Festival Memorial Service to honor the sacrifice of our military veterans, who, as President Lincoln said, gave the last full measure of devotion. As measured in patriotism and service, this is one of the events that illustrates that Indiana is special. I give a special thanks to the sponsors and volunteer service organizations and the soldiers and airmen of the Indiana National Guard that helped make this event a heartfelt and solemn ceremony. I'm honored to be among them. It's now my honor to introduce our keynote speaker. General Michael Garrett has served our nation for 35 years and commanded at every level through company to Army Service Component Command. He's led units in combat operations in Iraq and Afghanistan. A career infantryman, General Garrett received his commission in 1984 from Xavier University. Prior to his current assignment, General Garrett was the commanding general of United States Army Central and Coalition Forces Land Component Command. In February of this year, General Garrett and his wife Lorelei moved back to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, where he assumed duties as the 23rd Commander of United States Army Forces Command. As the commander of the United States Army's largest organization, he commands 215,000 active duty soldiers and provides training and readiness oversight for over 500,000 U.S. Army National Guard and U.S. Army Reserve soldiers. General Garrett's a Pathfinder and an Airborne Ranger. He served in the Army's most legendary units, the 75th Ranger Regiment, 82nd Airborne Division, and the 25th Infantry Division. And so without further ado, let's give General Garrett a hearty Hoosier welcome.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I am humbled and deeply honored to be here. And we're fortunate to have so many distinguished guests, civilian leaders, and local dignitaries with us. Governor Holcomb, Mayor Hoxett, thank you for your Hoosier hospitality. To the Gold Star families in attendance, our entire nation is forever in debt to you for the service rendered by your loved one and for their sacrifice. We acknowledge that our words of gratitude and even our actions can never fill the void created by the loss of your family member. As we stand before this magnificent monument, I am struck by the enduring commitment of the vibrant city of Indianapolis and the great state of Indiana. And to the men and women in uniform serving today, and to those who have served in the past, whose heroic deeds fill the pages of our nation's storied history. In the tradition of the first Memorial Day observance in 1868 at Arlington National Cemetery, Americans come together in our communities, towns, and cities to place flowers and flags on the graves of those who have given their last full measure of devotion to their nation. We gather here to remember and honor those who have done their duty at immeasurable cost to protect and defend our freedom, in keeping with the first Memorial Day 151 years ago. Memorial Day is a singularly important day for America, a nation born and raised in the traditions of liberty and independence. At its heart, our history is a story of ordinary men and women from all walks of life who accomplished extraordinary things for our country, for the values and the ideas for which it stands. Memorial Day is set aside for us as a nation to pause and reflect and to pay tribute to those who gave all, who sacrificed their life in defense of our country, our values, and our way of life. Today we honor this sacrifice and we stand united with gratitude for their service and their personal courage. These great and noble individuals, men and women, carried the beacon of liberty and secured our victories. By speaking of their dedication and service to our nation, we honor their memory. In our commemorations this weekend, we remember their courage, commitment, and patriotism to the nation and their fellow countrymen. President Ronald Reagan spoke of that courage, saying, "No weapon is so formidable as the will and moral courage of free men and women." It is a weapon our adversaries today do not have. It is a weapon that we, as Americans, do have. And let that be understood by those who practice terrorism and the enemies of freedom. In my career, I have witnessed the bravery and courage that President Reagan spoke of. Throughout our history, the strength of this nation has come from the strength of our military. And let me assure you, your armed forces stand today unified in common cause at the front lines of freedom around the world and oppose those who would threaten this nation, our allies, and our friends. Through all our nation's conflicts, our men and women in uniform have conducted themselves with honor, commitment, selflessness, and courage. They answered the call. They understood that freedom is not free and that it's worth fighting for. Undeterred for 243 years, the brave men and women of our U.S. Armed Forces have fulfilled their obligation and responded to the call of service to our nation as living examples of selfless service and personal courage. So to all the American soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen, and their family members, thank you for what you do each and every day. God bless the families of those who gave their all. God bless those currently serving in harm's way. God bless this great city and state, and may God continue to bless the United States of America. Thank you very much.
Thank you, General Garrett and Major General Carr. It is now my honor to introduce our next guest to the podium, Hershel Woody Williams. Mr. Williams is the sole surviving Marine from World War II to have earned the Medal of Honor, which he earned in 1945 for going above and beyond the call of duty at the Battle of Iwo Jima with the 21st Marines, 3rd Marine Division. Mr. Williams has selflessly dedicated his civilian life to supporting and paying tribute to Gold Star families. Please rise and render the appropriate honors to Medal of Honor recipient Woody Williams as he comes to the lectern.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Hoosiers, and thank you, Indianapolis. Thank you. Maybe with just a little bit of encouragement, I can become an adopted son of a Hoosier. Thank you very much. Please be seated. What a day. What a blessed day. When we think of this morning and the dark clouds rolling over our land, and all of a sudden it's clear. Oh, it's warm, but it's clear. And it's a day in which we can all be very, very thankful that we are Americans first and that we love this great country in which we live. I'm going to ask a favor, and it's kind of in reverse of what we normally do. After all, I'm not normal. At least they tell me I'm not normal. I'm going to ask that all of us who are not members of a Gold Star family, those who did not lose a loved one in the armed forces of our country any time in our history, if all of those in that category would please stand with me and let's honor and welcome the Gold Star families who are here. Would you do that? Thank you very much. Thank you. The last Sunday in September is noted and declared a Gold Star Family Day. But we do not find that date or that title on that date listed on most of the calendars of this country. So there are millions of Americans who have no opportunity or knowledge of what a Gold Star family member is and the sacrifices that they made to enable us to be who we are, what we are, and live in the greatest country on earth. If I had the power, there's two things I would do for September, the last Sunday in September. Number one, I would make it a holiday. A holiday so that we could honor, and all of our citizens of this country would know we could not possibly have the privileges that we have to live in the freedom that we live in without the sacrifices of those who went before us and those who are still sacrificing yet today. The other thing I would do is I would establish a Gold Star family flag, something similar to the MIA flag, something a little bit like our national colors that would also fly on that particular day, so that our youth, those following in our footsteps, would have some knowledge and some indication in this country of the sacrifices that have been made. I don't have that power, but the people do. We are the people. And of course, it says we are those who decide who represents us. So we, the people, if it's going to be accomplished, if you would agree with the idea, then let's work on that. Just as this city worked on getting a Gold Star Family Memorial Monument that has taken years to do, but certainly now, those Gold Star families residing in this area, in this community, for the very first time, can go to a place where they can look at something that represents their loved one. We must not ever, ever forget those loved ones. This United States of America we have done wonderful things and great things in recognizing we who serve. There's Veterans Memorial in almost every community you can think of some kind. There are a few places in our country where we have a listing, as this community does, of those who made those sacrifices. But there's many communities that do not have that. No one in that community knows of the sacrifices that were made. Somehow, we must correct that so that our youth, as they grow into adulthood, will have some idea of how they got where they are, have the privileges that they have, and that others made all of that possible because of sacrifice. So if you can join me in any way to encourage more recognition, more honor, more tribute to those who gave more than any of us, please add your support. Please do what you can do as a citizen to make sure those loved ones will never, ever be forgotten. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. In a tradition dating back to World War I, during wartime, families with members serving display a Blue Star banner in the window of their home. If a member of that family is lost while on duty, the Blue Star is then replaced by a Gold Star. The display of this flag and significance of the Gold Star is a reminder that war touches families. Honoring the fallen is personal, and with a Gold Star, we recognize immediate family members who were denied the return of their loved ones from war. Through our unity on Memorial Day, we remember the fallen and their families. Please join me in offering our gratitude to all the Gold Star families who have given so much to our nation. Representing the families today are members of the Gold Star parents, Gold Star spouses, and our Gold Star children and siblings. Amid sorrow and loss, their commitment to maintaining the memory of those whose lives were sacrificed in our wars while spreading their spirit of patriotism is incredible. At this time, please stand during the laying of the Reefs. These 3 wreaths are dedicated to the memory of all Hoosiers in all wars and conflicts who have sacrificed their lives in defense of this nation. The wreaths will be placed by representatives of the Gold Star parents, Gold Star spouses, and Gold Star siblings and children. At the completion of the wreath laying, we will pause for a moment of silence in respect to the Gold Star families. Representing the Gold Star parents, Mrs. Kimberly Thompson, mother of Sergeant Jonathan Hunter, United States Army. She will be escorted by Governor Eric Holcomb. Representing the Gold Star spouses, Miss Carly Waters, spouse of Sergeant Drew Waters, United States Army. She will be escorted by Mayor Joe Hogsett. Representing the Gold Star children and siblings, Jennifer Tuma, sister of Specialist James Allen Waters, United States Army. She will be escorted by the 500 Festival Queen Scholar Olivia Johnson and Chairman of the 500 Festival Board of Directors, Mr. Mike Stroll. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The USS Indianapolis CA-35 heavy cruiser was the ship that delivered the atomic weapons components that mobilized the attack on Japan and ended World War II. After delivering the components, the ship was torpedoed and sunk with 1,196 men on board. Only 317 sailors survived the 4.5 days that passed before their rescue, making it the worst single disaster at sea ever suffered by the U.S. Navy. The USS Indianapolis Museum is located here at the Indiana War Memorial. It is this service's tradition to recognize all of the Indiana casualties by reading the names of those who have fallen in combat since March of the previous year, followed by a toll of the Indianapolis's bell. This year, the bell will not toll and will remain silent to indicate there have been no Hoosier combat casualties from March 2018 to March 2019. While we remain silent, let us take a moment to remember all that have fallen in defense of our freedom. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You may be seated. In a few moments, entering from the east, you will see a military funeral procession, also known as a cortege. The cortege comprises service members who accompany the remains of the deceased to the gravesite. Elements of the cortege are the escort commander, honor platoons representing all services, drummers, an honor guard, the horse-drawn caisson which transports the fallen hero's remains, 8 casket bearers, and the comparisoned horse. During the Civil War, a horse-drawn carriage called a caisson, normally used as an ammunition wagon, was used as an improvised hearse to carry the dead from the battlefield where they had fallen. The hearse was covered with a flag, which often became a makeshift burial cloth. A riderless horse, also called a comparisoned horse, follows the caisson. The horse is adorned with a saddle, a pair of cavalry boots reversed in the stirrups, and an army saber attached to the right side of the saddle. This symbolizes the fact that the deceased had fallen as a warrior and will not ride again. The Military Department of Indiana Ceremonial Unit is the official sister organization of the Old Guard at Arlington National Cemetery. Founded in 1974, the unit renders honors at military funerals, marches in parades, serves as an honor guard for the governor, and represents the Indiana National Guard. The primary mission of the ceremonial unit is to provide military honors to the deceased. The motto of the ceremonial unit is respect, honor, tribute. Please remain silent as the cortege enters the ceremony. Please rise and face the cortege as the Military Department of Indiana Ceremonial Unit pays tribute to our fallen heroes. The ceremonial unit firing party conducts a rifle salute, and the bugler plays taps. be seated as the 38th Infantry Division Band of the Indiana Army National Guard will play the battle hymn of the Republic. Today's A-10 Warthog flyovers conducted by the airmen of the 122nd Fighter Wing, 163rd Fighter Squadron of our very own Indiana Air National Guard, known as the Blackhawks, based out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Near the end of the hymn, you may want to turn and face north as the flyover will approach. At this time, please remain standing as the memorial prayer and benediction is offered by Major Clifford Popp.
I invite you to join me in prayer. Almighty God, we remember on this Memorial Day service all your servants who have departed this life in service of their country. We pray that having opened to them the gates of larger life, you will receive them more and more into your joyous service, that they may win with you and your servants everywhere the eternal victory. As we take part in activities this weekend, may we all reflect on the rights, the liberties that we have because of their service. For us who are here, may the Lord bless us and keep us. May the Lord make his face to shine upon us and be gracious unto us. May the Lord lift his countenance upon us and give us peace now and forevermore. Amen.
Thank you, Major Popp. We thank our distinguished guests for joining us today, and we thank everyone for honoring all of the men and women who have served our country so gallantly. Once today's ceremony comes to a close, please take a carnation and place it near the Reefs at the steps of the War Memorial in tribute to those who have given their lives for our freedom. To conclude our event, please remain standing while the color guard retires the colors and the Capital City Chorus will sing, "God Bless America." That concludes our service. Thank you for attending today's 500 Festival Memorial Service presented by Rolls-Royce. Thank you.
Ending our coverage the way we began, with the fine voices of the Capital City Choir. We appreciate your time today to spend a moment or two reflecting on the real reason for Memorial Day and the weekend that so many gather here in Indianapolis for the race is, of course, to honor the lives lost in service of America, an annual tradition that we are very honored and privileged to be part of. If you are watching on Wish TV, we do want to invite you to stay tuned, because our reflections on this day continue in just a moment with a special presentation that we have prepared, hearing from veterans of foreign wars about the lives they saw lost, again, in service of the country. It is called Veterans Voices, and it continues after this.